Before we go into the deliberation of various speakers, would like to focus on the geographical aspects, how it has been so useful for us to develop something called the coastal tourism in this region. Because coastal tourism, in a historical sense, we think it's not that old. It is only 200 years old. In the 19th century, the people thought about this kind of tourism, and that's how the coastal tourism came into forefront. But now, with the introduction of several projects and initiatives, both in India and abroad, there has been a paradigm shift, both in terms of augmenting revenue as well as generating the employment opportunity and improving the quality of life of the people of various coastal areas. And the characteristic feature of eastern part of India is significantly important because of the width that we have, which is the width of the coastline. The coastline is very long, not only long, extending from Bengal to Kanyakumari, but it has a width about 80 to 100 kilometers. Just imagine the width or the broadness of the, the coastline. And this is a very important geographical factor which is conducive this kind of tourism in this area, other than the quality of the sand and the kind of coastal line that we have, the geomorphology that we have in the area. So this, to a greater extent, we will have to think about, because it not only has a width, which is of course due to the aggradational plane, it increases the land elevation. But if you ever go to Gopalpur, you will see the Gopalpur beach is called Gopalpur on sea. Uh, this is primarily because the elevation of the land, and we have this kind of geomorphology in the entire eastern coast. Then the second important feature of the eastern coast of India, which I've been abundantly seen a variety of beaches. In very recent time, the government of Orissa has started introducing new beaches like Astaranga and other beaches, where you have wildlife, where you have olive turtle, the very rare species that you have. Then you have lagoons, and one of the important lagoons in the entire South Asia, or the entire Asia, is the Chilika Lake. We call it a lake, but it's basically a lagoon. And how the offshore bar is also a geographical facility that we have. Other than the sandy coast, the straight shoreline offers you so much that no other part of, its counterpart, especially the western coast, doesn't offer so much. And the states like Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, of course, the Coromandel coast or the Utkal coast, and the Payan Ghat of Tamil Nadu offers you a huge opportunity, and with regard to the coastal tourism that we are going to promote, or we have been promoting in this area. So I'm not discussing much about it, but I must tell you how in recent times the blue economy has contributed or is going to contribute and bring another shift or another drastic change in the tourism industry, like the introduction of cruise, which will allow not only the ship having a airport, a very big ship having airport, and cruise taking people from Southeast Asia to the entire eastern coast. And especially when we talk about the Southeast Asia and India bilateral agreement with many of the countries like Cambodia, Thailand, and especially the Buddhist nations like Korea, Japan, China, and others, how they will get an opportunity to travel on sea. And this is going to happen because of the blue economy of the Government of India initiative, and uh, which I'll be talking in detail at the end of the discussion, how to the linkages, the tourism linkages between intra-ministry, inter-ministry, inter-sectoral, yeah, I mean, various sectors involving tourism can contribute significantly in promoting tourism, logistics, tourism services, and talking about the blue economy, as you might be knowing, that the Government of India recently has uh, intended to increase the share of freight transport through coastal route from 7% to 10% by 2020. As now 2020 is over, we are going to have 2020, 2022, and though because of the economic fall down because of the pandemic, but during this pandemic, the Government of India has continued its projects, infrastructural development, and the 20 to 25 billion in uh, growth which we were expecting could not happen, but definitely in the long run, when the infrastructural, because the pandemic period had stopped us significantly. So the infrastructural projects will also allow something called, with a view to promote cruise tourism along the Indian coastline, which of course it has started the SOP, or standard operating procedures, to facilitate cruise tourism, like e-visa facility at 5 CE airport: Mumbai, Goa, Mangalore, Cochin, and Chennai. Of course, in the next another few years, we are going to extend from Chennai to Andhra Pradesh coastal tourist destination, then Odisha and Bengal. And Bengal plays a very significant role in linking the Southeast Asia, uh, not only through lands but also through the coastal facilities that we have, and the ports facilities that we have, or the major ports which will be developed in the long run, will facilitate. And this eventually is going to improve the quality of the life of the people, generate huge employment, and the recent initiative of government, another project with regard to tourism, is the blue flag destinations in Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Gujarat. And 40 beaches have been opened up, and you will be happy to see the blue flag uh, beach that we have in Puri, and we are going to have such blue flag to beaches elsewhere else also. Chilika is another lagoon which needs to be added new dimension to the coastal tourism. And I hope I have taken a lot of time of yours, and looking forward to listen from the experts who have is assembled here to deliberate on the issue of coastal tourism. And mm, uh, I'm hopeful that we will be in a position to draw a blueprint in the coming time. And the initiative of the Indian Institute, under the stewardship of Arindam, whatever has been very, thoughtfully have been working on. And you all, especially, I would request Mr. Sanjeev Mahanti uh, to be, to develop that kind of facilities between interstates like Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu, how we can, and we'll be talking about after listening from all of you. And really speaking, it has been a wonderful occasion to interact with such luminaries that we have today. Once again, the way the things got kicked off by Sujit, the young man who is running the webinar. Every time I listen to him, I still learn a lot of things, and we are hopeful that at the end of the day, of today's webinar, we all would like to contribute something through writing and for preparing a blueprint and sending across the the authorities that who is looking after all these projects and all that. Now, with these words, once again, I welcome the speakers of today, and looking forward to have your active participation not only in the webinar but in the coming years to enrich the coastal tourism in the Purvodaya region. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sri Rajesh Purohit, for your very insightful and very thoughtful deliberations on the topic. Now, let me welcome Sri Sanjeev Mohanty, who is the head of the FICCI based at Bhubaneswar, Odisha, and who is an economist and who has also contributed to the tourism sector in a meaningful policy deliberations and crafting the policy related to tourism sector in eastern part of India. With this word, I welcome Sri Sanjeev Mohanty, very warm welcome, and hand over and request him to present his presentations within the stipulated time, sir. Sri Sanjeev Mohanty, sir.
Yeah, Dr. Kused, thank you. First of all, good evening to all the eminent delegates here, all the dignitaries here. Sri Rajesh Purohit, the former director, Indian Museum, Calcutta. Can you hear me, Dr. Sujit?
Yes, yes.
And other distinguished speaker like Dr. Arun Das, Associate Professor Economics, ICFA University, Hyderabad. Then Sri Mr. Fayad Nandi, Tourist Officer, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, and other eminent dignitaries. In fact, my presentation, if the organizer can show, because from my end, actually, I'm finding difficulty actually, or else I can give extempo from my side.
No, sir. I would like to request Hirok sir if you can play it on his behalf. Hirok sir, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I'll stick to the timing. In fact, as I said, first of all, Odisha is very well known actually in terms of Mr. Purohit sir has already mentioned a lot about Odisha, the coastline, another thing. I'll be very specific, in fact. So let me come to the Odisha. If I talk about the area, it is there in the slide. Population is around 4.6 crore. All these things I should skip. Now I coming to the main part. That is aspiring Odisha. The Odisha is set a kind of a benchmark. It is number one state in investment implementation state. Among the top 3 investment destination about 15 years. It is a power surplus states. Also, it has a high mineral rich and minerals and other mining deposits. Also, our honorable CM has got a lot of accolades. Coming to the tourism, statistics point of view, it contributes 10.4% of the state GDP, which is very huge amount. And coming to the tourist inflow, before pandemic, the sector was doing really well. The growth was almost 9%. And now during the pandemic time, there has been a sharp decline in the tourist, almost 92% fall in the global tourist. Also, there is a sizable amount of fall in domestic tourists, also 44%. So total number of tourist footfall was around 23 lakhs during 2021. And talks about Bhubaneswar is very well known, everyone knows about it, and it is particularly famous for temples. And it is also a planned city. And city, as the Bhubaneswar also got some award on smart city challenges also. And it's the third best city doing business as per the World Bank ranking. Coming to, if you could take the slides. Hello. Yeah. Coming to the performing arts, if I say there are various famous arts like Chau, Palod, Daskatia, Ud, Baganacha, and other things are there. Orissa is also very prominent in Godipua. It's a very peculiar form of dance format. Next slide, please. And if I talk about the states has many experience. Like there are a lot of things to offer, like spiritual tourism, heritage tourism, and the coastal wetland tourism. We have Mr. Purohit already explained about this. Kilika Lake is there, Vidarkanika Lake is there. Ecotourism also it is there. Wildlife tourism is also there. Handicraft tourism is also there. Ethnic tourism also there. So there are a lot of fair and festivals which are very prominent in Odisha. If you come to the the prime circuits, there are golden triangles is there. There is then Buddhist circuit is there. Kilika circuit is there. It's well explained in the PPT. And also, if I come to the wildlife circuit, it is very prominent places are there like Similipal, Debrigad, Satkosia. Also, ethnic circuit is there, like the tribal area is there in Koraput and other class. So Orissa has a lot of things to offer. Not just beach, Orissa has a lot of things to offer. And coming to the beach tourism, that Purohit sir has already explained about the blue flag that Puria beach has already got. Then there is another Chandrabhaga beach is there. Salsari and Chandipur beach is very peculiar beach. So water recede actually at the interval. So these are the things. And Gopalpur beach is again very prominent. And coming to other destinations, like we already explained in the PPT, like Chilika Lake. And if you take the next slide, please. Yeah. This is now again wildlife and ecotourism. Very prominent wildlife and ecotourism is there. There are 40 community managed luxury camps are there in Odisha. It is mainly managed by self-help group, and the women are very involved. So they also get a sort of employment opportunity from this thing. Next slide, please. Yeah, Chilika Lake. Chilika Lake is very famous in the sense it's a very famous for Irrawaddy dolphin that is particularly found in Chilika Lake. So many visitors come there just to see the dolphin actually. Also, it is very famous for migratory birds. Coming to other part like Vitarkanika, that is Indian Amazon of India, Vitarkanika. It is very famous for mangroves, crocodiles, largest crocodiles. That is another thing, Garib Matha, which largestly known for olive redleaf turtles. Next slide, please. Yeah, spiritual tourism, Odisha is a very religious state in this sense. The very prominent one is actually everyone knows that is Rath Yatra. Almost 50 lakh devotees come to Odisha. Because of pandemic, actually there is some, there is some restriction from the government side, but this will resume next year actually. And coming to next slide, yeah. Then come to the heritage and Buddhist tourism. Buddhist tourism, there are Buddhist circuit is there in Odisha. There are like places like Girang, that Diamond Triangle is there, Girang is there. Girang is very prominent actually. There is actually Buddhist community is there actually. And other places actually near to Bhubaneswar like Udayagiri, Khandagiri, all these are prominent places of the heritage sites. So almost 33,000 permanent heritage sites there in Odisha. Yeah. And coming to the other part like art and handicraft, Odisha is very, very famous for various kind of handicraft like Utkraskista Kalak. Then other part like filigree, woodcraft, brass and other material, dokra. These are all prominent. These are very, very prominent handicraft item in Odisha. Raghurat is very, very famous in this sense. There is a village is there which is very, very famous for this kind of work actually, filigrees and other works. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, when coming to the Odisha has since Odisha tourism is very, very very dynamic. Government is there led by senior official from the state government. The calendar is very, very vibrant. They are promoting a lot in tourism. So like Rath Yatra is there, as I mentioned. Then Konak Festival is there. There is Sendat Festival is there. Then Tosali Mela is there. Equality is very, very prominent, getting traction these days. Odisha is doing equality at 5 places. Last time it did in 5 places and got very good encouraging response from all the travelers from abroad also. Then come to Chilika Bird Festival is there. Then Mukteswar Dance Festival is there. A lot of things are there which Odisha is doing actually. So the calendar is very, very vibrant because Odisha is making the the state of the entire state very, very I think they are engaging for all the cultural activities and other tourism activities. Next slide, please. Yeah, this one actually this is a real picture of the tenting accommodation. Tent accommodation actually the equity site in Konark. So these are the facility you can see. The suite is here, the normal room is here, the meeting room is here, everything is here. So these all things are fabricated artificially. Yeah. Then comes the present day trade in Odisha 2020. Like there is a lot of encouragement for the houseboat tourism. I mentioned about camping already, and caravan tourism. So all these are prominent. These are all the new things happening in Odisha. It is not just limited to temple and other thing. Now government is going beyond that actually, so that just to give some kind of attraction to the visitors. Next slide, please. Yeah, talking about maritime. In case we don't talk about maritime, it will be very, very incomplete because Odisha has very, very glorious past. If you talk about Sadhava, if I talk about we did business in Bali and other Sumatra and other places. So if I talk about that, Odisha has glorious past. From there, actually, the real trade took place. And also, if I talk about the history of Odisha, let's talk about kind of a Bali. Odisha has got a lot of similarity. To our father actually we call Bapa in Odisha. So same thing they tell in Bali. Also in Odisha we call mother as Bou. Bou is also there called as Bou there. So a lot of similarity there, all the state. This happened because of the trade takes place during the ancient time. Then I come to the modern days, kind of a current state of affair. Like Odisha has three, prominent ports are there, like Paradip Port, Dhamra Port, Gopalpur Port. So these are mainly they are, handling the most of the export and import things by these states, prominent states. So Odisha has everything to offer. So not just Odisha is rich in mineral and other thing, Odisha has a lot of things to offer. Then finally come to the Odisha tourism. Odisha tourism, as I said, Odisha has kind of vibrant calendar in place. So Odisha government has allocated a sizable amount of money. If I talk about the outlay, the outlay now reach 595 crores. If I talk about 7 or 8 years ago, it was only 100 crores. So there is sizable increase in the budget from the government side. But government alone cannot do it. Government needs also the handholding, also support from the real support from the private investor, so that the project can take place, can go faster rate. So main issue of the Odisha is actually the implementation of the project. So that is not going at a desirable level. Many of the projects are on hold, like Samuga project is on hold. Many other projects are hold. So Samuga project is kind of a game changer. If the Samuga project comes in, near Puri, so there will be a lot of investment opportunity in the Samuga project. Like these are the things actually. And finally, yeah. Then I come talk about new initiative. Next slide, please. Yeah, new initiative. If I talk about new initiative, like I can say the government is giving a lot of emphasis, the beautification of the port, the beautification of the sea. And if I talk about there was a lot of initiative from the government side, coming up with special restaurant that is Nimantrana in Bhubaneswar. They have already set up, Another one they have set up, in Puri, and another coming up in Sambalpur. So they actually provided the Oriya delicacy. So this is very special. Actually, this is managed and the owned by OTDC. That is Government of India undertaking OTDC. Another thing, Odisha is also giving prominence on a lot of eco-tourism destinations. Also Buddhist circuit, they're also kind of giving a lot of importance to Buddhist circuits. Then comes to other mode of kind of investment. As I said, Odisha has sizable amount of budget from Odisha government side, but this is very limited considering the the investment opportunity the state has to offer. So they are actually need private investment to come in like PPP mode and other thing. So Odisha has thought of development of infrastructure in PPP mode. Like also Odisha has leaked out many Panthanivas. It is primarily run by some of the private operators just to increase the quality of the service. So all this, and the sanity and hygienic other things. Then it comes about other infrastructure like Odisha has given importance on water-based recreation facility, water park and other things. And finally, Odisha has also come out in other initiative like in Kotak they have already started the Silver Seat Boat Club. Also Chandrababu they have already started this Silver Boat Club. So many other initiatives are there. And finally coming to the infrastructure, like development. Odisha has done a lot of things on development of water body at different location, in different port location. Development of support for infrastructure for cruise and water body operation at various locations. They identified land parcel for tourism infrastructure for private investment. Initially, because as I said, government alone cannot do it. They need the investor to come and invest in the land parcel. So they are inviting now the private investors. Then I am coming, to the challenges ahead. Yes, as I said, Odisha, though is led by the dynamic government, led by the Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha, supported by also equally supported by the dynamic state government official, but still there are many challenges. Like Odisha needs, as I said, Odisha needs serious need of private investment, and Odisha need more number of budget hotel and star hotel in select location. So whatever the hotel Odisha is offering now, these are actually the number are there are good number of hotel in many places like Puri and other places. But if I talk about some places like Chandipur and other places, we need more hotel to come there. Then comes the another thing Odisha is lacking, giving the quality education institutes are not there. So we should know you need to have more number of hotel for the imparting education for the hotel sector, also for the tourism sector. We need more institutes to come up. And second thing, Odisha has very encouraging tourism policy in place and giving a lot of incentive. But the incentive for the investment are getting not sufficient. So they really need the fund from the other state so that other state investor can come and set up their hotel and other thing in Odisha. And Odisha needs also air connectivity. Air connectivity, if I talk about air connectivity, only there is an airport, there are two airports actually in Odisha nowadays. One is at Bhubaneswar and another is Jharsuguda. So we need more number of airports. Another issue is actually railway network connectivity. Railway network connectivity is also a serious issue. Like places like, many places are not well connected. So somebody has to depend on the road actually. So rail connectivity is a must so that you can get more number of tourists. And these are the things, and yeah, these are the things, maybe, yeah. So I can conclude, sir. Mr. Purohit, sir, I can conclude. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sri Sanjeev Kumar Mohanty, for your presentations where you outlined the opportunities that is available in the one of the eastern state having the huge potential in tourism sector like Odisha. What are the challenges? What are the policy initiatives the state of Odisha is taking? And the larger picture of the collaboration between the state of India and government of India. Unless and until we have some kind of synergy between the two units of the government, like the central government and the state governments, there won't be any significant progress in the tourism sector. What we need is the infrastructure development. At the same time, the new policy dialogues, new policy initiatives like the public-private partnership, and we need to take into consideration something called the involvement of the local people. So the benefit can start from the people, and it will have a 360-degree involvement of the people. So this is the larger insight to the PURVODAYA schemes. So once again, I convey my sincere thanks to Sri Sanjeev Mohanty. Despite his busy schedule, you spent some time and deliberated upon the crucial issues, and you highlighted many policy-related issues. and that will also help us to formulate new policy in terms of the tourism sector in the coastal areas. Thank you very much, Sanjeev Swanti sir. And now,
Dr. Proceed. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
okay, sir. Thank you. Now we have another distinguished speaker, Sri Dr. Arun Kumar Das. He is a member of faculty who is an associate professor at the ICFI University based at Hyderabad. And he is an economist by training, and he's an academician, and his more academic contribution, academic research is focused on tourism sector. So he will deliberate on the state, focusing on the state of Andhra Pradesh and the down south. And Arun Kumar Das, we expect that you, apart from an academician, you will also bring in the policy dialogues and the pragmatic solutions to the tourism sector in the contemporary India. With this one, I accord a very warm welcome to Dr. Arun Kumar Das and request him to make his presentation within the stipulated time. Dr. Das.
So good evening, all of you. Thank you, Sujit sir, and thank you, Dr. Arindam Mukherjee sir, for giving me an opportunity. But I will not take much time, so I will start about my presentation, the coastal tourism and Purvodaya. So my screen is visible to all of you. So my screen is visible to all you.
Yes, sir, we have been able to hear you.
Okay. So basically, my presentation start with why tourism matters. Why should we study about tourism? Basically, first I will talk about Indian context. Then after that, I will move quickly to the coastal tourism context. And if you see that in terms of world trade, it accounts 7% of the global export. And we can say that if you see the GDP point of view, it contribution is 10% according to United Nations World Tourism Organization. And if you see that the tourism is one of the third largest export category after fuel and chemical, and it is ahead to the automobile and food product. And tourism sector is the largest service sector in industry, and its contribution is 28% towards the service export. And here you can say if total 10 jobs are created, then the tourism sector contribution is 1, so far as Indian economy is concerned. So there are many people, they are believing that, I mean to say consensus believe that increase in tourist arrival will increase foreign exchange earnings and create employment opportunities and its multiplier effect of the economy in particular. And if you see that according to the World Travel Tourism and Council, the industry has contributed 6.8% towards the GDP in 2019 and creates 3.98 crore jobs, which is equivalent to the 8% of the workforce, and it adds 30 billion to the forex reserve, which is equivalent to the 5.6% of the total export. And if you see the contribution of tourism, we can divide into two aspects. One is microeconomic aspect, another is macroeconomic aspects. And if you see microeconomic point of view, increase in tourist arrival will create employment opportunity in the tourist sector and also provide regional employment opportunities and increase the quality of labor in that sector. On the other hand, if you see macroeconomic point of view, increase in tourist arrival will increase foreign exchange earnings, create employment opportunities, and enhance our culture. And we can say that it strengthens our trade, and it has multiplier effect. And but if you see the macroeconomic point of view is much wider compared to the microeconomic view. As a result, the standard of living will enhance. And tourism also treated as one of the additional tax revenue for the government, and increase in foreign exchange earnings can be utilized to pay the debt. It might be domestic debt or foreign debt, or we can say it can be utilized to buy capital goods which can produce other goods. So now here you can say, if you see the number of foreign tourist arrival in India, if you see it has increased significantly from 1.68 million to 10.93 million since 1991 to 2019. The increase in tourist arrival is because of number of action plan taken by the government of India. I mean to say, since 1992, National Action Plan was formulated, followed by National Strategy of Promotion of Tourism in 1996, and Incredible India in 2002, and Atithi Deva Bhava, one of the important campaign which introduced in 2009, and I mean to say electronic visa facilities, which is implemented more than 160 countries. So it was implemented in 2014. Because of all the factors, because of all the policies, our tourist arrival has increased, foreign tourist arrival has increased drastically. But you can, if you see 2020, it has come down, I'm to say 2.74 million because of COVID impact, which made our life stand still. So if you see that foreign exchange earnings, number of tourist arrival and foreign exchange earnings are highly correlated, like that monetary policy and fiscal policy are highly correlated, otherwise that policy paralysis will occur. I'm to say foreign tourist arrival and earnings are highly correlated, and you can say that foreign exchange earnings has increased from 1,861 million to 30,058 million during 1991 to 2019, and it is came down to 6,958 in 2020 because of COVID scenario. And now the question arises, why tourists are coming? Tourists are coming to India because of various purposes. One is, you can say, holiday, leisure and recreation, Indian diaspora, business and professionals, medical and others. And if you see that many tourists, they are flowing to India because of holiday, leisure and recreation, that is 58.2% in 2020, followed by Indian diaspora. One important thing which it is clearly seen that business and professional, the tourists which are coming for business and professional, it has come down over the years. And on the other hand, medical tourism is increasing. That is very good sign. So all the states need to take the benefit of medical tourism. So now, if you see the coastal tourism, if you see Andhra Pradesh point of view, Andhra Pradesh means the second largest coastline in the country, having 974 kilometers. And here, and if you see that, if you see the domestic tourist arrival in Andhra Pradesh, it was 52.5 million in 2001, and it increased to 207.2 million in 2012, and further increase, which is significantly high number, maximum peak. It is 231.1 million in 2019 and came down to 70.8 because of COVID scenario. And if you see, might be 2013-14 might be that state bifurcation. Okay, so that might be the reason. And so basically, this is how the tourist arrival has increased. And if you see number of states, Andhra Pradesh ranks 4th. And you can say its rank means its share is 11.6%, which is behind Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, and Karnataka, so far as domestic tourist arrival is concerned. On the other hand, if we come to foreign tourist arrival, you can see that foreign tourist arrival was peak in 2009. Then after that, foreign tourist arrival has come down. And if we compare both domestic and foreign tourist arrival, it is clearly visible that Andhra Pradesh is highly dominated by the domestic tourist arrival, not by the foreign tourist arrival. I mean to say the contribution of domestic tourist is more as compared to the foreign tourist arrival. So here you can say that though Andhra Pradesh has received National Tourism Award or Best State for Comprehensive Tourism Demand, but the true potential of the state is yet to be explored. So Andhra Pradesh is getting more revenue through the domestic tourist compared to the foreign tourist. And if you see the revenue receipt of the Andhra Pradesh, it was peak in 220 million in 2007-8 and came down to 0.09, which is very low, means 2019-20. So now it is a question mark. So though the Andhra Pradesh is having lots of potential, then why revenue is coming down in Andhra Pradesh? So what are the policies there? What are the policy need to be taken? So if you see the strategic intervention, we can say that there is a need to develop high-end luxury desert in the prominent tourist destination of the state, and there is a need to strengthen public-private partnership in order to attract more tourism arrival, and there is a need to involve more the private players, means I'm to say local people, insofar as development of tourism sector is concerned. And there is a need to simplify the ease of doing business. Ease of doing business is not clear, means many things are not clear for the investor. It should be simplified. And in order to position the Andhra Pradesh in the most preferred tourist destination, there is a need to develop world-class resort and huge investment in infrastructure, and also they should develop unique product. So for that, they can make themselves as a differentiated product. And to promote responsible tourism practices means now we should encourage hygiene, cleanliness, and sustainable environmental practices. Whether tourism sector will be sustainable or not, you can see there is increase in sea level water because of global warming and other things. And here means the tourism products should not be available only one website. It should be available in different ways. I mean to say through omni-channel. For example, if you see Samsung we can buy through Samsung stores, and we can buy through Amazon, Flipkart, different stores. Likewise, tourism products should be available in different sites. And likewise, infrastructure development should be there. And if you see that rural tourism, art and craft, Andhra Pradesh is blessed with unique art and craft. And many people are practicing since couple of years before, and it provides livelihood to the people. So through tourism, we can enhance the art and craft of the Andhra Pradesh. And here, Buddhist tourism, if you see, there are more than 40 Buddhist monuments across the state. And here you can say, Andhra Pradesh need to market these things. And here you can say Amravati cluster and Vizag cluster should be interlinked. And after that, through tour operators should link to Amravati cluster and Vizag cluster. And after that, they can also link to Bodh Gaya. Then after that, they can also link to Japan and China and other places in order to develop Buddhist culture. Likewise, motivation and innovation. Here you can say that Kondapalli Fort and Bapu Museum, they are highly they play important role so far as attracting number of tourists. And if you see the Kondapalli Fort is it's very old fort, and the renovation is required. And if you see the price of the Kondapalli Fort is 3 rupees, 5 rupees, which are very negligible, and 3 rupees, 5 rupees are not making any sense. I think that government should increase the entry fee, and likewise government should provide the better service. So here ecotourism, and if you see the Andhra Pradesh is blessed with one tiger reserve, one elephant reserve, and one biosphere reserve, and one national park, and 13 wildlife sanctuaries. And Andhra Pradesh should develop the ecotourism. In that way, environmental sustainability will be maintained. And beach and water-based tourism. And if you see Rakhyakund beach, it is very, very beautiful beach, and it is close to Visakhapatnam, 500 meters away from Visakhapatnam, and it can attract lots of tourists. And that only one thing we can say that government should encourage that government should develop Rakhyakund beach more, and more resorts should be there. So I have no idea that how much cost is the documents that the resort which is close to Rakhyakund beach. Might be that the government should come up with lower class resort for the domestic tourist may be attracted more. And recreation tourism, here you can say Andhra Pradesh is currently having limited visibility so far as recreation tourism is concerned. So there is a need for amusement park and park like location like Tirupati and Vizag. So, yeah, so far as religious tourism is concerned, if you see like Odisha, Ratha Jatra and Andhra Pradesh, and here you can see religious tourism plays an important role. Religious tourism and Purvodaya is one of the unexplored area. And here you can say that if you see the eastern states, they are having lots of potential, and the religious tourism contribute 2.3% of the GDP. So it should be given lots of priority. And it is believed that once this eastern state will develop, that will take the religious economy multi-step ahead. So in order to enhance religious tourism, there is a need to well connectivity through roads and railways, and there is a need to develop lodging and boarding. And here, if you see the state like Andhra Pradesh in Tirupati attract 30 million tourists annually. So you can say that religious tourism should be developed. And if you see medical tourism, see if you go to any states, you will find the special economic zone, to develop IT sector. Why not medical sector? And here you have clearly seen that number of people are coming to India for medical purpose. So in that way, if government will provide any initiative for medical tourism, I can say that that eastern belt will grow. So here I can say that both government and central bank should play an important role. Government should provide tax incentive, and likewise you can say central bank can direct the commercial bank to give loans with cheaper rates. So for that, medical tourism will be developed, and country will be benefited. So tourism infrastructure development, if you see that infrastructure plays an important role, and means when tourists they are coming to any places, they look for the infrastructure. They have limited time, so for that they need to travel quickly. So infrastructure plays an important role, and we need to develop infrastructure. Two schemes are developed. One is Swadesh Darshan and another is Prasad. But I don't think that these two schemes are schemes can able to take the economy multi-step ahead. More schemes are required to take the economy multi-step ahead. Infrastructure plays an important role, and infrastructure, to promote infrastructure, in the budget, government sanctioned 240 crore. Okay, so that to develop the infrastructure. So I believe that once infrastructure will be built, then tourism, number of tourist arrival will increase drastically. So here amenities and locations, basic amenities, and government need to identify what are the most preferred tourist destination and whether amenities are there or not. And they need to look whether means that I mean to say drinking water is available or not. Then changing rooms are available or not. Then you can say the toilet is there or not. Then you can say cafeteria is there or not. If not, then they should be done in an immediate basis. Government should not think about that, okay, immediate revenue. But I can say once tourism sector will develop, that it has multiplier effect, it can attract a number of tourists will flow, then it will create lots of job opportunities in the hospitality sector, and you can say means tours and travel, and it will increase the standard of living of the people, and in future it will enhance the tax revenue for the government. Hotel and resort need to be developed, and here the different types of hotel and resort need to be developed. Means we should think which target group we are looking, whether we are looking for the high income group of people or middle income and all means low income group of people. So different for different group of people, different types of hotel and resort group need to be developed. For example, if you see Rakhyakund beach, as I told you, so if you see that might be that on the top of the hill you will find that resort is highly luxurious resort. Might be that, but if you see that Andhra Pradesh is attracting lots of domestic tourists. So to looking that thing, government should develop different types of resort for different type of people. And here you can special economic zone need to be developed. And skill development and capacity building. Means here you can say to attract more tourists, there is a need for skilled and efficient workforce. So as per the National Skill Development Council, it is estimated that tourism sector in the state have an incremental workforce requirement over 1 million manpower by 2022. So the tourism sector will need more skilled workforce. So that to supply more skilled workforce, there is a need to develop hospitality sector. And safety and security of the tourist. So basically safety matters. So it means that you can when tourists they to fly to any countries, first they look the safety, then after that they look the price. So that's why that whenever we are visiting any places, we are looking the house that means whether 5-star hotel we are thinking is safe. Likewise, tourists look for the safety point of view. So safety should be given, and that Atithi Deva Bhava, that campaign should be reintroduced. And if you see that most of our media and all the things, no one is concerned about how to attract more tourists, because tourists have multiplier effect. All are, you can say, all are giving different things. Might be that shampoo or what about these things, and none of them are concerned about the tourist safety and all the things. So we should encourage the people, and we should tell them what are the benefits if more tourists will inflow to India, and how their standard of living will increase, and how infrastructure will develop. And it should be communicated to the people in different modes. I mean to say through TV, radio, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Means I mean to say digital marketing should play an important role so far as promotion and marketing of tourism is concerned. So finally, that what I would like to say that means government is taking multiple steps. Okay, so government is taking multiple steps, but we need to see that we need to see whether it is implemented properly or not, and after that we need to re-evaluation, we need to re-examine whether if there any policy lag or why it fails or how it can be improved. Accordingly, the policy action should be taken. And all means we know that eastern states has lots of potential to attract lots of tourists, and they are also attracting, but might be some lag is there. We need to fill that gap, And to fill that gap, there is a need for the intervention by the government and public, and government cannot be successful without the coordination of the public. So any policy, whether policy will be successful or not, that depends on the proper coordination between the government and people. If people will accept, then definitely the policy will be successful. And if people are not accepting, then we can say the policy paralysis will occur. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you. Sir, you are on mute, sir.
You need to unmute yourself, Shujit sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes,
Thank
yes.
you, Dr. Arun Kumar Das, for your very insightful discussions on the tourism sector broadly in India, specifically to Andhra Pradesh. You rightly highlighted the policy gaps existing in contemporary Andhra Pradesh and India. For example, you highlighted some issues you flagged certain issues like the tax incentive to this tourism sector, the development of the SEZs, and also something called the building the skill of the local people so that it will be meaningful in terms of tourism sector development. So at the same time, you highlighted on the different level of economic interventions, like what is the contribution of the tourism sector to the national economy, all these things. So your analysis and your deliberation has helped us to understand the tourism sector and the PURVODAYA in a new perspective. Thank you very much for these things, and thank you very much for your kind presence here. So right now we have another distinguished speaker with us, Sri Sayak Nandi, who is a tourism officer, information officer attached to the Ministry of Tourism, which plays the crucial role of implementing the tourist-related policies. So we will listen from him the perspective of the Government of India, the Ministry of Tourism, and who has been handling the crucial sector, the information regarding the tourism. So Sri Sayak Nandiji, very hearty welcome to the deliberations and the webinar on coastal tourism and PURVODAYA. I take the privilege of inviting Sri Sayak Nandi to make his presentations here.
I would like to bar in. Shayok is the Assistant Director of Ministry of Tourism. So firstly, congratulations, Shayok, and floor is over to you.
Thank you, Kankana. Thank you, Dr. Shujit Kumar Prasad. What a day today. We have so many learned colleagues with us, individuals from whom we have learned so far about their perspective, their stories, and their views on coastal circuit of India. Friends, first of all, namaskar from the brand Incredible India. And today I would like to highlight on few points which my previous speakers have spoken about, but not in details. First of all, in continuation with Dr. Arun Kumar Das, what he was saying, what he was highlighting about Andhra Pradesh and the entire eastern coast, the infrastructure development of the tourism circuits of eastern coastline has already gained momentum since 2014 onwards. We have sanctioned more than 500 crores of funds in different coastal circuit projects in eastern India. We have the second and third largest coastline, mainland coastline in eastern India in the form of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. And friends, as we are all aware that Tamil Nadu has been the top destination as far as foreign tourist arrivals are concerned. And soon the rest of the eastern states or eastern coastline states will join that. Our Honorable Tourism Minister, Sri G. Kishan Reddy, is from the land of Telangana and earlier undivided Andhra Pradesh. So we are all hopeful for this entire sector to get benefited out of it. Secondly, I would give you some specific numbers which will help us understand what is the exact number of circuits we are talking about. In Tamil Nadu, the government has sanctioned more than 70 crores of rupees in developing the coastlines. Dr. Aruna was talking about the necessities of these coastlines, whether changing rooms are there, whether basic amenities are there or not. That thing has been analyzed. The need analysis has been done since long, since 2014. You all know that Swadesh Darshan and Prasad scheme have been launched by the Honorable Prime Minister back then. And since then, with the consultation of experts, state governments, union territories, we have come up with this unique project of developing our circuits, our coastal circuits, Ramayana circuits, Buddhist circuits, all sorts of circuits which we were not heard of before. Exactly. We knew about Golden Triangle, we knew about Goa, we knew about Kerala as such. But since 2014, for the first time, the Indians are becoming aware day by day about their destinations. You have heard about Atithi Devo Bhava campaign. That has been a past glory of India as a destination. Atithi Devo Bhava and Brand and Incredible India 1.0. But we are on the verge of Incredible India 2.0. And with the vision of Honorable Prime Minister of Dekho Apna Desh, we are promoting our lesser known destinations such as the coastlines of Andhra Pradesh or the coastlines of Odisha or West Bengal in a more penetrative manner, so to say. The social media and digital penetration of brand Incredible India or Ministry of Tourism has reached new heights during COVID also. And as a result, you can see if there are hoteliers among us today, or if you can have a chat with them separately, you would come to know that in last 3 months, since we are recovering from COVID, all the major hotels in most of the coastal towns are packed. You won't get a single like premium room over there. Even you can check out with operators who are doing the ticketing and all. Even on in the season, off season, this is off season for coastal circuit because of the humid condition. But you see the room occupancy rate at coastline. So in Andhra Pradesh, as it is the second largest coastline, we have spent more than 116 crore in last few years. And in Odisha, more than 70 crore again. In West Bengal, more than 85 crore. And places like Satpara, Tampara in Odisha, Barkul in Odisha, Tajpur, our Fraserganj, Henry Island, Bokhali, the unknown places in the eastern coastline have come up to the tourist circuit or the tourist map. And for promoting them to the people, to the domestic tourists as well as inbound tourists in the coming future, we have created content in last few years. Once these projects are getting developed and on the verge of completion, more than 80% of this total allocated funds have already been utilized under the strict monitor of our Honorable Tourism Minister as well as the senior bureaucrats of Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. So we are making certain contents, very unique contents, and we are promoting them all across the social media, showing them in international platforms like recently held Dubai Expo. So I would like to show you a glimpse of such a content of this infrastructural development, because my colleagues and seniors here have already spoken about the other aspects of tourism development. So I would like to just focus on this infrastructure development and show you a glimpse. Can I share the screen, Dr. Shujit?
Yes, you can, sir. Yes.
I hope it is visible.
It's not visible.
So this is about the coastal circuit of Odisha. You can see Satpara, beautiful coastline. There is a feature attached in coastline. Like
We are not a
coastline of India is mostly dominated
It is not visible.
The video is not visible.
No.
Okay, just a second, sir. Just give me a moment. So I hope the video is visible now.
Yes.
Yes.
So as we were talking about Eastern Coastal Circuit of Odisha, and as you see, we are going to watch a small film on South, a beautiful coastal destination, and still a virgin coastal destination, to be precise. There is a major difference between the western coast and eastern coast of India. This line, due to the rough nature of sea, has not included in that beach tourism aspect. Ministry of Tourism, experts, and state tourism, so that we can introduce what is used certain activities here, complementing with required amenities, infrastructure, so that these destinations can be explored by people, particularly post-COVID, when people would like to explore, listen on places, and not crowd. As far as beach tourism is concerned, talk about beach tourism, particularly in India, we talk about Goa specifically. And you can see all of us must have been to Goa, I assume. And you see the Goa, particularly North Goa, and all are famous for the crowd. There's huge crowd of foreign tourists and domestic tourists, weekenders and all. So, but post-COVID, what will happen is that post-COVID, we would see some new features in the tourist preference or the palette of tourists. They would like to explore places which are not crowded, first of all, so that at any point of time, if anything comes up, God forbid, a COVID-like situation, then they would feel safer in an environment which is not crowded, which gives them some sort of freedom of movement. At the same time, they would like to spend time with nature. That is most important. And with this specific nature thing, I would like to mention that Government of India, along with the state governments of this entire eastern coastline, is working towards getting a sustainable environment, creating a sustainable ecosystem. That's why one after another beaches of Odisha is getting blue flag status. You see, CRZ and other rules are being imposed in a way that these beaches and the sea and entire community associated with it are getting benefited out of it. Be it Chandrabhaga or be it recent inclusion of the beach near Puri. We can see this reflection of government perceiveness towards the responsible tourism concept. And with this, we hope that once India is, as we know, India has opened itself after 27th March. We hope that we would receive the desired number of foreign tourists in months to come. We have collaborated with the Indian embassies. Recently, just a month or two back, we have provided content to the Indian High Commission in Bangkok, and we have created contents on this very eastern coastline for them, for the branding and publicity purpose. So the entire Government of India machinery is on the right track towards getting a better tourism economy or future for tourism economy for the eastern coastline. Another feature I would like to mention that though it's a internal thing, but whenever our honorable ministers of tourism, the cabinet minister, whenever he interacts with the government apparatus, be it the Ministry of Tourism offices or the state tourism departments or the IHMs and IITTMs, which are the autonomous bodies, Institute of Hotel Management and Tourism Management, run by Ministry of Tourism Government of India only. We are focused on capacity building as well. In past 2 years, in the difficult times of COVID also, we have trained more than 1,000 students or 1,000 individual, not students, 1,000 individuals in this entire coastline under Hunar Se Rozgar Tak scheme. The difference between this new regime, so to say, and the old regime of publicity and marketing is that earlier our schemes, whatever we were doing, were not known to public. But now with creation of this content, I have just shown you a small glimpse of one such content, but because we are having this session on Google Meet, it was not possible to share with sound and all. But you would soon find all these contents on the infrastructural projects of Eastern Coastline and Ministry of Tourism, Government of India's social media handles. So now we are promoting these things. The infrastructure has been developed. People, local communities are being trained, and even all the IHMs are geared up. Once we have recovered from COVID, all the IHMs and Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, regional and sub offices are geared up for this post-COVID era to train more and more people, to develop them, to develop the skills so that they can cater the incoming tourists in a better way. We have not only trained just the people who are associated with tourism, we have trained the people who are associated with intangible cultural heritage, be it the toy makers, be it the handicraft and handloom makers, be it the performing people who are related to performing arts, so that some sort of complete package can be created. It's not just about beach tourism, it's not just about nature, it's about the experience. So to create that experience, we have trained more than 20 villages, people of more than 20 villages just in West Bengal and Odisha. Recently, Odisha Tourism and the IHM, which is a body under Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, have trained all the local employees, local people working in the eco retreats of Odisha, which are mostly located in the coastal circuit, just a month back. So more than 200 people have been trained in a specific month of March. So we are all hopeful that in times to come we'll be better prepared. We'll be prepared with infrastructure. We'll be prepared with efficient manpower to cater the need and requirements of domestic tourists as well as inbound tourists. About the spiritual factor, already my previous speaker, Dr. Arun, was talking about certain spiritual circuits of Andhra Pradesh and all. We have come up with something unique, a portal called Utsav Portal. This portal will be launched soon enough by either the Honorable Prime Minister or the Honorable Tourism Minister in months to come, where we are highlighting all the festivals of most of the states, which were earlier limited to the people of that state only, like certain festivals which were not participated or not promoted for tourists in general. So we have liaisoned with all the state governments. We have prepared content of our own so that these fairs and festivals can be promoted as well. So we are geared up for a Incredible India 2.0 chapter, and I hope in times to come all of us who are associated with tourism will see the impact, in genuine impact on our tourism economy. Thank you ISCS for this opportunity. Thank you Konkona, and thank you Dr. Sujit Kumar Hussain. And that was my bit. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Swayak Nandiji. Being at the helm of affairs in the tourism sector, you brought out many intricate relationships between the tourism and the national economy. Very rightly, you highlighted the content creation and dissemination of the contents, and you talked about the recently initiative called the Utsav. At the same time, you highlighted that it should be a package where it should not be only one aspect of the tourism. Very rightly, you highlighted the policy lacunae existing in the government of India and the recent initiative which will fill in the existing gap. So Sri Sayak Nandi's deliberation has helped us to understand the policy gap, existing policy gap, the policy that has already been taken by the government of India, and they're trying to showcase the different aspect of the coastal tourism to a global audience. So in this recently, what we have seen, the post-pandemic scenario, we have seen that the Indian economy is picking up. So what Sri Nandi talked, that the tourism can also play a very significant role in reviving the local economy and the national economy. So with these things, I convey my sincere thanks to Sri Sayak Nandi. Despite being in the ministry, which is a very demanding task, he shared his time along with us, and we shared his vision also. Thank you very much, Sri Sayak Nandiji. With this, we come to the conclusion of this webinar on Purvodaya and coastal tourism. We have got many feedback from the different speakers. They highlighted on different aspects. Just to summarize their views, we can go to some of the key points, that is takeaway, or we can call it takeaway from the deliberations. Very specifically, which Mr. Sayak Nandi also talked about, that we need to repackage, we need to train those local people also. Let's start with some of the key issues that we learned today. And based on their deliberation of all the speakers, let me summarize in some of the key notes only. First thing is that tourism must be declared as an infrastructure so that it could be given some kind of tax incentives. Second is required is a skill development in terms of language, in terms of speaking to the global tourists. We need some kind of skill development. Third thing is that we need to conserve the heritage sites. So the number of heritage sites must be increased. Along with, we need to bring in the help from the corporate social responsibility so that it will be a public-private partnership, and it will take a long way in keeping the conservation of the heritage site that is visible right from West Bengal to Odisha to Andhra Pradesh and along the coastal lines. Next thing is that promotion of the ease of tourism, like the social security, security of women, and something called the basic facilities like toilet, clean beaches, etc., etc. So all the points can be clubbed together, and the government of India can promote tourism in terms of Incredible India, which they have been promoting. Right now, that Incredible India could be made into Incredible India 2.0. So we look forward to a very bright future in terms of coastal tourism and Purvodaya. So with this word, we come to the conclusion of this webinar. Thank you very much, distinguished speakers, for your valuable time, valuable deliberations, valuable information that you shared. And I convey my sincere thanks to the director of the Institute, Sri Arindam Mukherjee, and the office bearers, Ms. Konkona and Krishnendu. So I will request my distinguished colleague, Sri Krishnendu Bakshi, to propose a vote of thanks.
Is Krishnendu sir with us? I don't know. But before we conclude, a little bit of time and a little bit of collate to the distinguished chair we had today. And sir, before we conclude, I would request Purohit sir if he can give his remarks.
Thank you. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes.
Very optimistic and very encouraging words from many of the participants, especially the man from India Tourism, Government of India Tourism, who very openly told about the projects. And my point is that we have got initiative of the Government of India, very, high sounding proposals, but what is happening at the implementation level is important. I'm very, very pragmatic with regard to the implementation part, rather than coming onto the screen and singing the glory of our policies and the policy issues and what we have done, how we have achieved. That doesn't make any sense, in the sense as long as you don't see something is happening. I am a great traveler. I have traveled across the country and abroad as well. I know what is happening, what is not happening, because the projects which has been introduced by Government of India are so good, so holistic, and so so much of energy in it. But what is happening is, it is not up to the mark. For example, we recently I had been to a very fine destination, which from every angle it could be one of the finest destination for ecotourism, for nature tourism, for having an experience in the lagoon, is the Satpada. The very crucial part of the Satpada is missing in the video, is that it is a wonderful island, a wide stretch of island linking the sea. And if you just pass a few yards from the land to the sea, and it is a stretch of land between the sea and the lagoon. It is so incredible, it is so mind-blowing, you will simply say that this is heaven on earth. But the kind of infrastructural facilities, the kind of hardship that you have to reach to that destination, one should be very, very pragmatic. We should not sing our glory. I'm very honestly telling you. So the most important part of the story of the webinar is the linkages and the logistics. Remember, these are the key words which I need to, at the very outset of the program, I wanted to have. The linkages here lies with the intra-ministerial, intra-sectoral, intra-states, and international collaborations. Participation, collaboration, these are the recent words, modern words. If you do not care about the linkage between the sectors, for example, aviation sector with the cruise project that you're going to have with the tourism sector, aviation sector with the dockyard or shipyard or shipping corporation limited. You have to interact, dialogue with all these people. I believe Dr. Arun Das will agree with me, because he has understood the problems of the situation, the realistic situation that we have. And the second important thing, because you say, why I'm telling it all these things. If the master doesn't say anything, the child get, failed in all the subjects. The master has to tell, you have called me as the chairman of this webinar. I will not sing glory. I will sing the glory of the government, the way it has initiated. But we are there to, do the work. And if we don't do, the people's participation, Dr. Arun Das told that the people participation is very important. And the public opinion and the social media, which he talked about, you listen to the social media reports, you address those issues, you will find that it is incredibly incredible, whether it is incredible 1 or incredible 2. With these words, I'm looking forward that we should have a blueprint of all these things, taking care of the intra-sectoral, intra-ministerial, intra-states, and international linkages, and the logistic required for promoting the product. These are the, I'm one of the oldest person with regard to tourism projects, making the 20 years I worked in the state of Haryana for the promotion of tourism. I began with a lesser known destination, which was not known to the people, that is called Kurukshetra, very famous Kurukshetra. It was not known to the people. People used to think it must be this somewhere there in Pilani or Rajasthan or anything. But now it is one of the finest destination of various kinds. So one has to work hard. I mean, you need the people's support to. I mean, it is not that always government will do everything. It is our responsibility. Then the public partnership, public-private partnership, which is not happening. That is why we are not matching with international. Why so much of less tourists are coming to India? Not that we don't have what the Europe or other countries have, but we have not done the packaging. Please bear with me if I have at any point of time has glorified anything. I am very, very realistic. And you should have a futuristic project of the Sagarmala project, which is coming. The futuristic project of the blue economy, which we are going to have, and the cruise facilities, which will draw international tourists. This is what I wanted to listen from most of our participants. But in the long run, we will have more deliberation on this.
Sure,
issue.
sure,
Please,
sir.
God,
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
I completely understand, Shri Purohit sir, that it is very, very difficult to comprehend such an illustrative topic within a span of 1 hour. But of course, on behalf of the Institute, I'm sorry that we couldn't link up with Sri Krishnendu Bakshi. I think he has some internet issues. So on behalf of the Institute of Social and Cultural Studies, I take privilege to thank Sri Rajesh Purohit, sir, for chairing today's session, and all the distinguished speakers, Sanjeev sir, Arun sir, and Shayo, for being with us and also deliberating on very, very interesting insights with regards to coastal tourism. The final takeaway, as Dr. Prushet has already catalogued what should be the final takeaway, but I would like to add one thing, as Shri Purohit sir said, that yes, intra-sectoral alignment and participation is important for the promotion of coastal tourism as well as towards the inclusive growth. So let's keep on that. Thank you so much once again. For all the audience, thank you so much for being with us. This webinar shall be put in our YouTube channel, which is ISCS India. To know more, please do like and subscribe our YouTube channel. And we would love to attend your participation and your support in time and again. Thank you all the speakers and also Shujit sir for being with us. Thank you so much, our director, sir. I could see Arindam, sir, though he's traveling in Delhi and lack of time, but I think such interesting and pragmatic discussion couldn't keep him away from participating. Thank you so much, sir, for also being with us. And all the participants, we look forward to such interesting discourses, deliberations, and talk and focus and feature on such interesting topics with regards to Eastern India development in future as well. So thank you so much for being with us.